Hello there, I'm Vine and today I have for you two Fauna builds, or maybe one build with two versions. Anyway, they also feature some borderline exploit options that Paradox forgot to nerf in the 4.3, so stay tuned. Meanwhile, this build is a request from the request list hidden on channel's Discord server. You are welcome to join and pick at it for future spoilers. The link is in the description below. With this out of the way, why two versions? Because I've realized that Fauna can be both min-maxed and optimized with one civic difference that drastically changes build's playstyle. So now, in one video, we have a military build for multiplayer and an eco build for single player. But for presentation, I'm gonna focus on the Hivemind one, as jumping back and forth could be quite confusing. Thus, starting with the mechanics, we're gonna begin with the Primal Calling origin, which gives us a myriad of bonuses to space fauna mechanics, most important being void lures to, well, lure the fauna to us. Second is the Space Ranchers / Wild Swarm Civic. The name depends on the authority, but mechanics are almost exactly the same. This civic provides complementary features to Primal Calling origin, like starting with amoebas instead of corvettes, and giving us artificial breeding and gravity snares technologies for free. Now we have to choose a version of our empire thanks to the second civic. The first option is the Spółdzielnia civic, also known as Worker Cooperative. It forces the Megacorp version of this build to convert trade into basic resources, the same resources that Fauna uses for upkeep. So, in addition to other basic resources production sources, it allows us to essentially breed and keep massive fauna fleets even over the naval cap. Fun fact, coincidentally this mix is also economically valid in real life, as in the farming industry, especially with animal husbandry, there is a common trick in which bunch of farmers establish a client-worker co-op that purchases their goods for processing and distribution. Thanks to this, they have a still fully private farms, a guaranteed customer, and additional income. Though, effectiveness of this trick always depends on implementation. But back to the build in Stellaris, as the Swarm uses the Cordyceptic drones as the second civic, since it's the feature that Paradox forgot to nerf, as it gives plus 10% space fauna damage, plus 50% space fauna weapon damage, and plus 50% space fauna weapon fire rate. You heard correctly, that's plus 50% on bonuses that practically multiply each other. Though, for all its brilliance, the downside of the civic is that we must play a Hivemind for it. And since Hiveminds have all economy based on basic resources, playing with space fauna that use the same resources for upkeep can be quite brutal, especially that we are gonna focus almost exclusively on the military side in this build. So remember to aim for quality over quantity with this version. Moving to the species traits. This is why the must-have one is the Aquatic trait, since it provides plus 20% habitability and plus 10% worker job efficiency on ocean worlds, helping us with the basic eco. As for the starting ruler traits, we need to pick Warlike for plus 5% ship's weapons damage and an option to take the Skirmisher trait later in game that provides another plus 5% ship weapons damage and plus 15% sublight speed. This is of course more important for Hiveminds as they cannot change their ruler later. For the finishing touch, we set the shipset to be artificial. I know that fauna biomix sounds more appealing, but artificial starbases and defense platforms don't have food cost and upkeep which we need for fauna fleets. That's all from the Empire selection screen. The rest is optional and customizable. So, let's jump into the game and look at the options there. Starting with traditions, we need to take Domestication as the first one for the Killer Instinct that gives us plus 15% Space Fauna damage and plus 15% Space Fauna sublight speed. Also for all other bonuses here. Second should be Supremacy for all the ship bonuses and war doctrines. Then, as we please. Fortification for the Bulwark of Harmony tradition that provides plus 15% ship fire rate within the Empire's borders and to unlock Eternal Vigilance on finisher effect. Subterfuge for the Information Security that provides plus 5 evasion and Operational Security that provides plus 10 tracking. As for the perks, we need Hydrocentric to increase Aquatic trait effects by plus 50%, Eternal Vigilance for the plus 20% home territory fire rate, and the Galactic Force Projection for plus 20% fleet command limit and plus 150 naval capacity. As for the Ascension, we go for Psionic, since Psionic Aura will give us additional ship bonuses within our borders and allow us to unlock psionic weapon components. Why this is important, you will see in a second. Now, Fauna ships were designed to be an auxiliary force. Sure, the Beastmaster's Civic forces us to use it as our main force, but it does not change the fact that we are working with space pets and not actual warships. To upgrade them, we must capture or breed specimens of better rarity to get the bonuses from genetic material. Also, as for their tactics, they have access to the same technologies as ships, but are not size restricted like them and can take any role on the battlefield, which is important, as after researching both controlled mutations technologies, we get access to 6 mutation slots, which can be filled with any combination of ship components that we have access to. 3 gigacannons and 3 tachyon lances? Completely viable option here, with one restriction of being resized to fit the size of the given fauna unit with small or large slots. This customizability is the main feature of the space fauna. Any crazy idea is on the table here, including putting 6 zero launchers on a space amoeba to create an artillery fleet of bombard bubbleses. Sure, they deal lower damage than typical G-slot ones, but have the same features and benefit from all fauna weapon bonuses on top of ship weapon bonuses. So we can fire best weapon in the game that gets more bonuses than normal 6 times per salvo. That was the second feature that Paradox forgot to nerf. Sure, it is hard to use due to weak base stats of Fauna, but when it works, it disintegrates everything. Now, it's time for evaluation. In multiplayer, it's Cordyceptic meta. Cordyceptic hive minds have the best military tempo in multi due to resurrection features, and combined with customizable fauna fleets, it rolls so well that it even gets banned by some hosts, though Echo is quite brutal with that one. In single player, it's a ranch. Cooperative, on the other hand, gives a nice and easy option to breed and upkeep large fleets. Quite good for fighting the endgame crisis to get the Beastmaster achievement. As for the roleplay, you are a space cowboy, though it is more literal than a romanticized space vagabond, as you just head amoebas through the vacuum of space. Anyway, what do you think about this build? Write your opinion in the comments, remember to visit channel's Discord, and see you later!